Good morning, boys and girls. You're welcome to another session of A03, Writing for Academic and Professional Success. We are in the third unit. The last session, we had just started Unit 3, in which we were trying to discuss the process of writing. I gave you an introduction to the process of writing, and I also talked to you about features and process of writing. I told you about the objectives in learning the process of writing as an academician is concerned, as a learner of academic writing is concerned. While talking about the features of academic writing, I tried to emphasize the importance of three words: formal, objective, and technical. I told you formal means it refers to the language, the kind of language that is used in academic writing. It should be formal and not informal. No colloquial language, no contractions to be used. Next is objectivity. That is, the writer and the reader should be kept away, and a third person narrative should be used. That is, that expressions like "I think," "in my opinion," should be avoided, and a third person expressions should be used. That is about the voice, I told you. I also talked to you about the necessity of knowing the process of writing. That is, mastering the styles specific to your discipline is important in developing academic writing skills. As far as the process of writing, academic writing is concerned, I told you there are three common steps to be followed while attempting to produce an academic essay. That is, pre-writing, writing, and finally the submission. Now, pre-writing, your preparation; writing, the actual process of writing; revising, that is, it is good to have a checklist and then check whether the items in the checklist are there in the final presentation. I also talked to you about the steps involved in writing an academic essay. For example, an argumentative essay. That is, decide on what you want to study or investigate. Number 2, collect information from expert sources. Number 3, prepare a framework or structure to work on. 4th, start writing. And 5th, prepare the final draft and submit, kind of a revision. Now, today in this session, we are going to talk about the purpose. The word is very simple, purpose. And then the audience of your writing. For any academic writing, there should be a definite purpose in the mind of the writer. Purpose refers to your reason for writing. Now, what is this audience? Audience is also a very familiar term to you, I know, a very familiar word to you. But in academic writing, audience refers to the reader. Who would be the reader of what you write, an academic work. Primarily, it is the teacher. Primarily, the teacher, because it is he or she who is going to assess your writing and perhaps give you a grade in your qualifying examination, maybe a master's program, maybe an MPhil program, etc. That is, so primarily you are writing for your examiner, your teacher, your supervising teacher. But it can also be, your audience can also be, maybe the teacher is going to read your essay or read your academic writing to your classmates. So your friends also, your fellow students also become part of your audience. Maybe the teacher is going to show your academic writing in the department, because if it is an outstanding work, she is sure to show it. See how excellently, how well the student has written this particular academic work. So it can be the teachers in the department, other professors. Maybe peers, she or he may also send it to the peers as a token of or as an example of how well a work can be done. How bad also, but how well a work can be done, an academic writing can be done. So this way, the audience is important. Audience is the reader. Now, there is a few lines, a relevant part in your text talking about purpose and audience. Purpose and audience. I'll just read it to you. Now, purpose, I told you the meaning is why you want to. Purpose refers to your reason for writing, why you want to write. And audience, I told you, is the reader. Now, writing skills are closely knit with one of the main aims of higher education, that is, producing employable graduates who are knowledgeable in their respective disciplines and capable of thinking independently and critically, making informed judgments. This is a very important extract from your text, which I'll read it for you once again. Now, writing skills are closely knit with one of the main aims of higher education. Now, writing decides your standard of education, academic writing. Why? Because by being good writers, academic writers, the institution where you are studying are trying to produce employable graduates who are knowledgeable in their particular subject, particular discipline, and capable of thinking independently and critically and making informed judgments. That is the purpose of learning about the correct way of writing academic essays or any other genre for that matter. Now, a list of academic writing assignments and skills or the social purpose involved are given in your textbook. It is worth reading, worth going through them. That is, a list of academic writing. On one side, that is on page 27 on the top of your text, you have, that is, a list of academic writing assignments and skills or social purpose involved. Shall I read them to you? The assignment: descriptive essays, very, very common. Descriptive essays and paragraphs, lab reports, and other explanatory writings that are asked by your supervising teacher to write. Now, what is the skill involved in it, or what is the social purpose behind it? Now, this kind of writing, this helps demonstrating knowledge, understanding, and synthesizing. Number 2, critical, argumentative, and persuasive essays, analysis of literary texts, that is, helps you to think in a certain way, developing reasoning ability. This also helps you to increase your ability to construct arguments systematically in a manner, it will be in such a manner that it will be accepted by your reader audience, persuading or convincing someone to to think in a certain way, and also it also helps someone to employing you in a particular post, in a particular post where independent thinking is involved. So these are the skills. Next one, review of literature. Review, what is the purpose of assignments like review of literature, research report, write up on methodology? This helps you building research skills. Research skills are tested, or research skills are developed by doing such academic exercise like review of literature, research report, write up on methodology, etc. Now the last one, proposal. We know what is proposal. Proposal is nothing but a plan, you remember. Case study, problem solving, designing specifications for projects. This kind of an assignment helps you to develop your skill to prepare yourself for a professional practice. For a professional practice. I told you, case study in the case of MBBS students. Now, after case studies, you become a professional doctor, a professional. So these are the ways in which this academic writing assignments helps you to develop your social skills, your skills and social purposes behind them, involved behind them, which prepares you to become responsible academicians, responsible employees who are capable of good knowledge, who are knowledgeable in their subject, capable of thinking independently and critically, and making informed judgments in your particular discipline or area of study. Now, finally, I would like to speak to you about audience analysis. I explained to you the meaning of the word audience in the context of academic writing, the process of writing. As in day-to-day conversations, you should have a clear idea of your audience. See, the best example is when we talk to somebody in our daily life. Say that the language or the way in which you talk to your teacher is perhaps different from the language you use when you talk to your friend. The language you use to a doctor where you go as a patient, and the language you use in front of a counselor when you go for a counseling session, all these are different. So the language you use depend on the audience, one who is going to listen to you, one who is going to read what you. In academic writing, it depends on one who is going to read your work. So that is what I told you. You should have a clear idea of your audience. Now, these questions may be very relevant here, that is, while trying to understand the word audience. These questions may be very relevant. Answer to these questions may be very relevant. Question number 1. Who am I writing for? Who am I writing for? I told you, as far as an academician is concerned, as far as a student pursuing any course of study is concerned, primarily your audience is your teacher, or your supervising teacher, or a professor, or an examiner, one who is trying to evaluate your paper, etc. So, who am I writing for? The second question, the second relevant question while we try to analyze the audience is, what do I expect my readers to know about my topic? For example, you are trying to write an academic essay on the relevance of the cooperative sector in developing rural industry or rural agriculture. Now, we are writing a paper on that. Now, what do I expect my readers to know about my topic? I want to, you may need to highlight on the plus points or the initiative taken by cooperative societies in our state. Cooperative societies play a major role in uplifting rural agriculture by encouraging the farmers, by giving them financial assistance in different ways, and helping them by supplying them with agricultural expertise. All these are done. So your audience, while trying to analyze your audience, you should ask yourself this question: what do I expect my readers to know about my topic, the particular topic I am going to deal with today? The third question: what do I want my readers to think about my topic? What at the end of the presentation of the topic, what do I want my audience to accept, or what do I want my audience to think about the topic? What kind of an idea should they get at the end of my writing? That also is very necessary as far as audience analysis is concerned. The fourth question, the last question perhaps there is, what do my readers know about the topic? Now, when you talk to them, when you write to them, you should also take for granted some background ideas which they already have about the topic. It is on that particular background idea or base they have, you try to build up your plan or your idea onto them, or pass on your idea about the topic to them. So you should also know, what do my readers know about my topic? In the case of college or university assignment, the immediate reader, as I told you, the immediate reader is your teacher or instructor or examiner. But others may also become your audience. Now, I told you, sometimes the teacher shows your paper, your academic work as a model to the others in the classroom. So your course students also become your audience, and then sometimes she or he takes to the department and show it to the other faculties. They also become your audience. Now, they may pass on the paper, your work, to peer group. That means they also become a part of your audience. Now, finally, I would like to talk about a point which I already discussed, that is, choosing an appropriate voice. No, it is in connection with the objectivity. You remember the three key areas: formal, objective, and technical. Now, with regard to this objectivity, you should also pay attention to the voice, choosing an appropriate voice. What is this choosing an appropriate voice? Now, please listen. In whose voice do you speak in an academic work? What are the appropriate pronouns to be used in an academic work? Although there is a widespread belief that academic writers should maintain objectivity in their approaches and perspectives, what rings at the core of your work is your own distinct voice. That is, if you are writing a persuasive piece, there is a consistent attempt throughout your work to convince the reader that your views are worth considering. Still, you normally do not use such expressions as "I think," "in my opinion," and "I found that." These expressions should be avoided. In order to make your writing more inclusive, it is better to write without reinforcing your stake in the work. So it is always better to sound neutral. In places where you are in need of using personal pronouns, better use a third person and preferably plural. But there are certain assignments that require that is an exception. There is something where some autobiographic expressions are necessary. In that case, you can use that. Now, I have, to end this session, I have 4 small big sentences in which this choosing an appropriate voice. After listening to them, tell me which one is the best sentence in that where an appropriate voice is used. Appropriate voice refers to objectivity. That is, keeping yourself and the reader away from the scene. Listen to the first sentence. While pursuing this project, I went through a lot of materials from magazines, newspapers, and internet sites, but I found them to be unreliable as they did not provide proof for the claims and they did not give details of their authors. Objectivity is not taken care of in this particular sentence. Listen to the second one. When we collect data for our project, we are likely to stumble upon many sources within our surroundings, like newspaper articles, magazine issues, and websites and so on. When using a source, it is better for us to check if they are reliable materials and see if we get evidence for the claims made in them and if they give us details of the author. Second passage, where again objectivity is not very satisfactory. Next, during the hunt for gathering materials, one may come across that is a beautiful expression. One may come across a lot of works in sources like internet, newspaper, and magazines. One cannot rely on them as one may not know if the claims made in them are reliable, and sometimes one may not find the details of their authors. The same idea put in a different way, better than the first and second. Listen to the fourth one. Information available in such sources as, see, beautiful. Information available in such sources as internet, newspapers and magazines cannot be relied upon, mainly because these sources do not often provide evidence of the claims made, nor do they mention details of the authors. To cut short, it is obvious that the fourth example is the most suitable, as it is addressing the problem in an objective manner. Moreover, the fourth sentence is less wordy. Too much of words, unnecessary words are not used. Wordiness we will talk about later. Remember the word wordiness. Sorry. It is addressing the problem in an objective manner. Moreover, the fourth sentence is less wordy and clearer. You can try writing sentences in different voices and compare which of your sentences convey the idea in more directly and clearly. I stop there with trying to tell you what I was trying to talk to you today. That is, I started out with purpose and audience in academic writing. I tried to explain the word purpose, which refers to reason for writing. Audience is your reader. I talked to you about audience analysis before starting writing. It is good that you have an answer to these questions like, who am I writing to? What do I want my readers to know about the topic? What do I want them to think of the topic? And what do my readers know about the topic already? Now, actually, primarily, our audience is in an academic writing, our audience is our teacher, a supervising member of the staff who is trying to guide us. And finally, I talked to you about the necessity of keeping objectivity in academic writing, first person to be avoided, and I gave you the example of 4 passages in which the 4th passage was written most objectively, and that was the best one. In the next session that we are going to meet, I will be able to tell you more about the process of writing academic essays. We have already talked about that, maybe a kind of an extension of the correct way of writing an academic essay, and also the steps in planning an essay. You know already the steps, and then we will also talk about organizing and outlining that should be done while writing an academic essay. Thank you for listening to me. Keep well till we meet next. Thank you.